Hello everyone, the topic we're discussing today is syphilis. The presentation was prepared and is being moderated by Whitney Brown. Whitney Brown has a Bachelor's of Science degree in Exercise Science and Health Strategies with a concentration in Sports Administration. She's also pursuing her Master's of Science in Public Health. During her undergraduate studies at Thomas More, she worked at Planet Fitness, a CrossFit gym, as well as the Thomas More University Athletic Office. The work included facilitating personal training and coaching classes, as well as doing the typical data management and business management for the facilities. While she was at the Thomas More University Health Department, the work included data analysis, health topic communication, treatment planning, and vaccine tracking. So what is syphilis? So syphilis is a sexually transmitted disease that's caused by the bacterium Treponema pallidum, and it's passed from person to person through direct contact with the syphilitic canker. They occur mainly on the external genitals, vagina, anus, and/or in the rectum, but can also occur on the lips and the mouth, as this is a person-to-person transmission. The etiological agent is again a bacteria, as mentioned before. Here's what the bacteria looks like under a microscope. So what are some risk factors for syphilis? This can include unprotected sex that can also link to HIV, the number of sexual partners, and the type of partners that you have sexually. So the risk indices is sexual transmission, pregnancy, and blood transfusion. Again, the sexual transmission is the most common form that we see from person to person, so from partner to partner. Pregnancy, it can be from the infected mother to the fetus, and then a blood transfusion if blood is taken from an infected person and then placed into an uninfected person. The epidemiological features include transmission and screening. The screenings done at clinics and or healthcare centers, depending on the areas and facilities available. Some key demographics in the mode of transmission. The key demographics, it's typically in gay men that we see larger amounts of the disease. However, it is open to all genders as it's based through sexual transmission. Some area demographics and the social determinants of health. The areas that this presentation looked into was Kentucky as well as the Netherlands. As you can see on the right side of your screen, at the top we have the Netherlands and all the provinces that make that up, as well as Kentucky, one of the states in the United States of America. The social determinants of health that we looked into were gender, the ethnicity, as well as social class. When reporting, so once infected, or if you believe that you are infected, you can do multiple different things. The first is to immediately call, so this would be right after you have that relationship with the infected person, or you can wait 24 hours if that person decided to tell you. The most common and most utilized is waiting 5 days, so within that 5-day period of the transmission, to report that by going to a clinic that we're going to talk about later. You can also go just to a regular doctor, but there are some clinics that are just focused in the reporting for these. Some of the disease variables that we looked into were the morbidity and mortality rates. The mortality for Kentucky, there was 30 cases in 2023. In the Netherlands, as we see here, was more heavily populated with the infection, so they had 1,693 cases in 2023. For the morbidity rate for Kentucky in 2023, there was 0. The Netherlands also had 0 cases in 2023. However, the last case for the Netherlands that resulted in death was in 2020. So what kind of testing do we have? So for testing, there's an initial screening with a non-trichominal test, but then it also follows a blood test. And then there's an automated trichominal test that's also followed by a blood test. The first one, that initial screening, that is just an automatic blood test that comes with it. For the second one, that automated test, They do that test first, and then they follow it up with the blood test to confirm. So what are some public health agencies that we researched and got to know about? So in Kentucky, the ones that we focused on was the Northern Kentucky Independent District Health Department, the Commonwealth of Kentucky that focuses on sexually transmitted disease prevention and control, as well as the Lexington Fayette County Health Department. In the Netherlands, the areas that we focused on was the National Institute for Public Health and the Environment, the Ministry of Health, Welfare and Sport, and then the European Committee of the Regions. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the Netherlands and why the one is not going to be located in the Netherlands. So for Kentucky, here is where those public health agencies are located on the state of Kentucky. As you can see up by Cincinnati, which is closer to where Thomas More University is, that's where the Northern Kentucky Health Department is. For our area, that'd be one of the first places that you would go to report. If you weren't close, there's those two other, the Lexington Fayette County and as well as the Commonwealth of Kentucky areas that you can go to. In the Netherlands, we have two that are predominantly in the Netherlands, and then we have that European group that is closer to Belgium, just because that group oversees that area of the world. They don't just focus on the Netherlands, they focus on the multiple countries around there. So let's look at the Netherlands. So when we're looking at the Netherlands, I utilized the GHS index website. So as you can see here, this is the country's score. So it's got a 57.8% rate for prevention, a 57.1% for detecting the disease, a 58.2 response rate, a 66.7 health rate, 68.1% norms, as well as an 80.2% for risk. So overall, out of all the countries, you can see their ranks here. They ranked highest for health, but they also ranked one of the lowers for detection. So let's look more into that detection score. So when looking at detection, they got ranked 1 out of 195, so they had a very good detection in their laboratory systems. They also ranked 6 for their laboratory supplies that they have. For the real-time surveillance and reporting, they ranked 70, so that was probably their worst score here. As you can see, for other detection scores, but the top ones were there that we're going to discuss today. The response rates, they're ranked 19 out of 195. They had a better response ratings overall. They had response plans, they have response operations, as well as communicating with the other health organizations and security authorities in the area. For their overall health, this is again where they were the lowest, so they were ranked 77 out of 195. They also were ranked number 5 for their medical countermeasures and personnel development, so pretty high there, as well as ranked number 4 for their healthcare access, so they do have some strong rankings, just not enough to get them that higher ranking overall. Risk, again, they have a higher ranking for their socioeconomic resilience and also for their infrastructure adequacy. But as you can see overall, the risk is kind of above average for the others compared to the previous scores. So now we'll focus on the United States. So as we can see here, the United States has a 79.4% for prevention and 80.1% for detection, 65.7% for response, 75.2% for health, 81.9% for norms, and 73.3% for risk. So as we can see here, the detection and prevention are very closely, their numbers are very close, as well as with the norms, so that's a better turnout to see as we'll see moving forward. In the detection for the US, they are ranked 38 out of 195. They also are ranked number 6 for the laboratory chains, as well as ranked number 1 for the real-time surveillance and reporting, and for the epidemiological workforce. Their response time, they are ranked 7 out of 195. They have pretty decent exercising response plans. They're ranked number 1 for their response operations, as well as communicating with those public health agencies and authorities. So overall, pretty good response rate. For their overall health, they were ranked 7 out of 195. So again, that's pretty high for what we were comparing to. They're ranked number 1 for their communication with the healthcare workers, also for their infection control and practices, and the capacity to test and approve new medical countermeasures. So pretty good on that health front, which for sure secured them that number 7 ranked spot. For the risk factors to end, as we can see, they were higher for the risk factors. They were ranked number 9, the best out of their scores here for their infrastructure. Everything else had them ranking lower compared to the Netherlands. And here is the works cited for all the resources that you can view if you want to get more information or see these in real time.